Hi ladies, and welcome to March monthly newsletter video tip. I'm LaKisha Brooks, and hopefully you had a chance to check out our newsletter. As you know, today's topic is going to be about motherhood, the work-life balance, and the workplace. This is a very sensitive topic for someone like me, as almost 32 years old, and I have no kids and no husband. Well, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but as of now, I don't have that in my life. So I definitely wanted to sit down with an expert in this field. She is someone who has a wonderful career that's steadily on the rise. She is the mother of 3 beautiful children, and she's an amazing wife. So I want to ask her some of your questions. So without further ado, I want to introduce Miss Susan Riley Hayes.
Thank you so much, LaKisha, for having me today.
Thank you so much. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your business, what you do, and just so the audience can learn a little bit about you.
Sure. I am a financial advisor, and I'm the president of High Point Wealth Advisors, and we serve about 250 households across the country, and we help people to reach their financial goals. We help them to create a plan and structure a roadmap in order to achieve the biggest moments in their lives, and it's a very rewarding career.
Wow, sounds like a lot of responsibility.
It is.
It is. So the one thing that I found to be amazing before I get into the questions is your husband works with you?
He does.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it could definitely be challenging at times, but when you talk about the flexibility it provides and us being able to structure what we do and when we do it in order to support our family and each other and our children, it makes a lot of sense for us.
Wow. So now I'm going to dive into some of your questions, some of those burning questions you wanted to know. First question is, as a top leader in your industry, have you ever had to make any personal sacrifices to achieve success? And if so, what were those sacrifices?
Well, I don't know a single woman on the planet who doesn't make sacrifices
That's
every
true.
single day, whether you're running a business or you're a stay-at-home mom. You know, women have a lot of things we have to juggle and a lot of things we take care of. And I think it's just in our DNA that we know how to handle challenges and make sacrifices. But yes, there's sacrifices that come up every day that you have to make. And it's about really understanding why you're doing what you're doing so that it makes sense. When you go back to all that chaos of life, you know?
Good, awesome. And this is my motto, that women can have it all. Do you believe that women can have it all?
Well, that depends on how you define having it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you hold on to, I think a lot of women do, because we're naturally just, you know, perfectionists in a lot of ways. If you hold on to the idea that, you know, you've got to have the perfect family and the perfect husband or the perfect career, you know, that idea is where I think a lot of women get tripped,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not about, you know, if I get this perfect husband or this perfect job, or when I hit this sales goal, or when I hit this, you know, financial number, that really doesn't bring you anything. The way that you define balance is more about, you know, am I in balance with myself? You know, how do I feel within? Because that's how the world works. We operate too much on the misunderstanding that the world works from, if this happens, then I'll feel this. And once you really start to understand that your happiness is within here, and that you're not leading with your insecurity, nor are you leading with the grasp of a result or an outcome where you're just, I call it obsession focused on your career, or obsession focused on performance. Once you let that idea go and let almost the results go, there's a sense of peace about that. There's a sense of, you know, okay, I can do the things that I can do because I'm not holding on to the steering wheel so tight that I can't enjoy the moments.
Wow.
And so it's understanding the balance of that and understanding where it comes from, because it doesn't come from out here, it comes from in here. And it's also understanding that you're gonna fail, you're gonna fall, you're gonna trip up, you're gonna have a bad day, but your resiliency to come back to center and understand that, hey, it's right here. That's what keeps you moving through. It also keeps you from burning out.
Wow, that was amazing. So, what is your idea of the work-life balance?
I actually believe that in today's environment with technology and all of the demands that we have on ourselves as women and just in our careers professionally, I really don't believe that there is a such thing as balance. I almost don't like the word because it brings up a connotation that you have to have everything so compartmentalized and so separated. I believe that it's more about fitting it in. It's about how do you balance fitting it in so that if you've got to have a really tough week where you're not going to see your kids, how are you going to make the most quality of the moments that you have on the weekends? You know, in the reverse, when you're on vacation or something's going on and you've got a client situation that you have to handle, how do you make sure that you can take care of the situation but not trip yourself up where you become in work mode? And the same thing with working out. You just have to make sure that you work to fit it in a way that works for your life and not necessarily about this compartmentalized idea of what we all think balance is or should be.
Great. And this was the best question because it pertained to me. What advice would you give a woman who is struggling between, do I pursue this career and get to the top level? Do I have a family? Do I get a husband? Because I know I deal with this every day. I have conversations with my boyfriend like, okay, if we get married, this happens. When we have kids, this happens. He said, how are you going to travel so much? And I know that's what I thought. So what advice would you give someone like me or some of our members who are struggling with that decision?
You know, it's interesting because I think that who you marry is almost more important than whether you're married or you're not. And the reason why is that in order to, have the career, particularly one like what you and I have, where you're really busy and you've got a lot of things going on, you have to have a partner that's going to be hands-on and support you. You cannot be traveling all over the place and not have a supporting partner that's willing to pick up the house and step in to do the dishes and change some diapers. And I think even Sheryl Sandberg talks about this as well, and bless her heart, her husband's passed now, but she talked about that without that partner, without that relationship, she couldn't have done it and be married and have kids.
Wow.
In many ways it's easier if you're going to do that to be single and to not have children, but if it's really in your heart to do those things, you have to be so careful with who you pick so that you can do both. And you got to have a good support system. You've got to have help and support, whether it's in your work life or whether it's a personal assistant or an executive assistant. You have to have, or a nanny, you have to have the support that you need in order to run at that level. And you got to take care of yourself.
Good. I love that. Now I feel like I can actually do this because it was a conversation every day. And he joked and he said, I'm going to be the one raising the kids. I'll still play my mommy duties, but thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I think that you gave the members a lot of great information. A lot of our members said this was the number one topic that they wanted to talk about.
It's a challenge.
And it's very challenging.
It is.
So thank you so much. And remember,
welcome.
ladies, make sure to check out our webinar. And remember to learn, lead, and leave a legacy. I'm LaKisha Brooks.